right, my third podcast of today. I'm excited for this one because I've got a guy on here who kind of did what most people dream about, right? He moved from Vermont to Colorado 15 years ago, learned to elk hunt, figured it out, and now this guy's killing a bull pretty much every year. He's killed the Colorado Big Nine with a bow, except for a sheep. He's an absolute killer. And this is Cody Covey. And Cody, I'm excited to have you on. I want to hear about that transition into elk hunting and what it took, what your mistakes you made were, and where you're at now.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me. So yeah, like you said, grew up in Vermont, mostly, well, pretty much all whitetail and bear. There's some moose tags back there, but I never got into it when I lived in New England. But I came out here in 2011, so it'll be my 15th year. I started in like February of this year, and I didn't really know anything about Western game. I just wanted to hunt elk, and that's kind of why I moved here. That and the skiing, but. There were some forums back then, like Bow Site was really big in like 2010. There's still like a Bow Site still around, but I don't get on there anymore much. But there was like, YouTube, Cameron Haynes and all those guys. I was fortunate. Aaron Snyder lived close to me, and it was before he blew up to who he is now. So I would see him at the archery range and ask him questions. But really I was hunting with all whitetail gear, like Sentinel Lock camo. I didn't have like a backpack to pack in, so I didn't have any money either, which is another thing. So I ended up my first year I hunted.
How old are you when you move out here? Like
I
early
was
20s?
22.
22. So you moved out here just because you wanted to hunt elk.
Yeah, that and I was gonna move here without a job, and I ended up getting a job, so it actually worked out pretty good.
Nice. What do you do for a living?
I'm a superintendent for a general contractor.
So would you move out here and get a construction job? I take it.
Yeah, so they actually they're all over the country. I work for a big GC, and I interviewed with them out of my college in Vermont, and they had a Denver division. So I was like, if you're going to hire me, that's where I'm going to go, regardless if I get the job or not. And it actually worked out. I've been with them now for 15 years.
Oh wow! So now you came on like a project engineer, I imagine, at first or something, and then
Yeah, they start you as a field engineer is the title, and then you work your way up to super, and then different levels of superintendent. So now I run some fair sized work, I guess.
yeah, large. Now this is like a mechanical GC. Like I mean, just does projects ground to ceiling, just runs a bunch of subs and
Yeah,
everything.
ground up. So we sub everything. We don't do any self perform here in
Okay.
Denver. So just managing safety schedule, quality, all the good stuff.
What
Lots of
GC is it? I'm
trades.
curious.
I work for Whiting Turner.
Whiting Turner. Okay, yeah. So I came from the
Yeah.
construction industry. I came from large commercial ducting, so we manufactured ducts out here. So I'm like super. That's why I kind of know like all my friends. See, now we're all like almost 40. So now all my friends are like in your spot. But when we first came up, they were all we call them PEs out here, project engineers, right? They all started
Yeah.
out, and then now they're all superintendents and whatnot, running these big projects. So yeah, very familiar with the job.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. It's a good gig, man. If you don't like mind long hours and fighting with guys all day, but
Dude, I tell you what, like no offense to you, but dude, the best thing I ever did was get out of construction. I don't deal with project managers anymore. Like just like
dude,
dude, like
I hear
like
that.
I was like I it was like no offense to my friends and stuff, right? But you're just a project manager, but dude, like it's just so hard to deal with some of these projects and because we're doing large commercials, so we were doing 15 large projects at a time, and everyone's got egos and just construction in general, and I'm like, man, like the best thing I ever did was get out of construction. I don't miss it at all because I was dealing with just year level guys, right, all the time from all these different projects and just deadlines and everything's gotten so fast. I mean, we used to build a building in a year. Now we build a building in 3 months. You know what I mean? And it's just these schedules it's just and nothing could be on the ground. It's always like just in time deliveries now. It's tough, man. It's a tough gig. It's stressful. It's
It is,
stressful.
dude. And you're right. Like budgets have gotten tighter, schedules gotten tighter, safety's gotten more stringent.
Oh
Like
yeah.
everything is harder. You can't cowboy shit anymore. It's the industry as a whole, not my favorite, but it does pay. So that's kind of why I stick with it.
Yeah, especially at a big firm like Turner, you know what I mean? It's like you can't go 3 foot of a ladder without freaking tying off to something, you know what I mean?
Right.
And it's like you got to enforce it. You're doing like you got to put a face shield on to drill overhead. I mean, it's like everything's gotten so hardcore with all the work comp stuff, especially in California. It's just it's gnarly.
No, 100%, man.
So that's not what this project, this thing's about. I'm just kind of relating to you right now. I kind of understand where you're coming from. I'm coming from the same space, right? I actually just left that space after 20 years of being in it. So you come out here, you're a project engineer or field engineer, um, and you're going to learn how to hunt. I did the same thing, right? So I got on to, I'm 39 now, I'll be 39 next week. I got onto a local forum called Southern California Hunting, SCH, right outdoors. And it's really small now. I mean, barely anyone's on it anymore. The forums kind of died off, but that's where I grew up kind of bird hunting. I'd never big game hunt. And finally in like 2014, I went out with one of my foremen one of my from University Mechanical, MCOR, right?
Yeah.
From MCOR. And we went pig hunting. And like once I put crosshairs on an animal and pulled the trigger, it was like I've barely bird hunted since. But I had to figure it out. And the way I did that was mostly through YouTube videos, podcasts, because podcasts just came out like Renella and Randy Newberg, Jay Scott, and then this hunting forum and kind of meeting people and kind of just like putting boots on the ground and just figuring it out. But man, like you got to figure it out on elk, which is awesome. I had to figure it out in San Diego, which our deer hunting sucks. So,
Yeah.
so man, like, yeah, let's talk about it. Like, what does that look like? Because most guys, they want to go elk hunting, they've never done it before. And, and a lot of them are in your boat, right? You're walking all quietly. You're trying to be all, whitetailish, you're spraying yourself down with your spray and changing your clothes and you get out of the truck. And then you realize like, when you go elk hunting about 100 yards in, you smell like a freaking butthole anyways from sweating and it doesn't matter. It's a total different game.
It is, man. And there's so much information now. Like there is some really popular forums still, and there's so many guys on YouTube and things like that, and Instagram and social media. It's just like everybody's got a different opinion, and it's tough to like navigate your way through it, like what's right, what's wrong. In my opinion, like the more things you mess up, the better you become. Yeah, it's good to not mess things up, but until you do it, you don't really know what works and what doesn't. So like my first couple seasons were tromping around the woods with a bow. I would get a leftover cow tag with a gun, so as much elk hunting as I could do. And it was more like I would never have a problem finding elk. Like that was never an issue for me. It just kind of was like, well, I'm just going to go to tree line and there's going to be some elk there and I'm going to hunt them. But it was like getting in range with a bow and not knowing how to call and having to learn that, not having somebody behind me calling. So like kind of learning to spot and stalk as well. It's just not, you don't do that where I'm from.
Yeah.
You sit in a tree stand or you sit on a field edge and a deer comes through and you kill it or you don't. And so the growing pains of it, I think, are why I'm so successful now, is because like I'm not saying I don't still bowl and jam and mess things up, but it's pretty rare for me to make big mistakes anymore.
So I guess, starting out, were you calling, are you still calling a lot in Colorado? Because I know like when I was in Colorado last year, every time someone would call, the elk would go the other way.
That's
Um,
pretty much the only way that I hunt them. I mean,
you
I
call a
will
lot.
ambush them up high early season, if they're not talking, but I pretty much just call elk in. And I just, I hated hunting the timber when I first started because they were so quiet, and they still are quiet in a lot of these over the counter units. But, I was overcalling and I didn't really know what I was saying. And I'm not saying I have it 100% figured out, but I do pretty well now with calling just enough to either get on elk to locate them or, get in tight and call them in.
You calling a lot at night? Find them.
No, I don't do a ton of the night stuff. I have like road bugled and stuff at night, and it is a good tactic just to find out where they are. But I'm usually just bombing into an area and bugling until I find one. And I don't bugle a lot, man. I know some guys will go every 10 minutes, but I cover a lot of ground in between.
So you're bugling like a couple times an hour, maybe, or are you
Yeah.
bugling?
Yeah, a couple times an hour. It's like turkey hunting, like I would go every 10, 15 minutes because like I feel like I can't hear a gobble all that far a lot of times where I'm from. It's thick woods and they don't echo real well. But like Colorado, I kind of feel like, if you're starting soft with cow calls and then moving to a bugle, giving it a little bit of time in one spot and then moving maybe to the next drainage or the next finger ridge, like, and it may be once an hour, maybe 3 times an hour. It really just depends on the terrain, how it lays out. But I try not to go in there and blow the horn too much because elk do get call shy, and if you're going to hunt the same area, it's good not to smarten them up too much.
So you're kind of just moving, looking for a bull that wants to play.
That's pretty much how I hunt. Yeah,
Okay, and are you? So once you do get a bull to call back, are you putting the bugle tube away and it's going straight to cow calf calls, or are you staying bugle tube calling these things in? It's
I
got
pretty much go to just cow sounds.
cow stuff. Okay.
Yeah, once I get him to fire, and if I know where he's at, I try to cut as much distance as I can before I ever call again. I try to get there silent. I try to get set up where I think I'm close enough he'll come, and then I play it by ear. If he won't come to the cow call, then I might try to bugle like on top of him, try to make him mad. If I'm going to do that, I try to cut even more distance. But usually, I think you can tell in the first 5-10 minutes what that bull wants to do or if he's going to come. And I don't I don't stand there and get in screaming matches and listen to him go 400 yards the other way for an hour or stand out there at 400 yards and I know he's not going to come. Like, I'll make a move in on him. I'll try to slip in.
Yeah, you're not just calling to call. You don't want to.
Yeah,
You don't care about hearing out call back. You can go to a state park and do that if you wanted to. You want to kill the bulls.
100%.
So you're going ridge to ridge, calling, just one or two, little some cow stuff, some bugle, move to the next ridge, drainage, and you might be just walking past elk, right? But
Definitely.
you're just looking for the one that wants to play.
100%.
Now, are
Yeah.
you? Go ahead.
So, like, I hunt a lot of benches.
Yeah,
I don't think
benches
this
are
is out of the norm. Like, if
no.
I get on a ridge and there's a bunch of benches, I might go around that entire bench, below tree line and cow call soft because like I've had bulls where you bugle here, you move around the other side. I'm just talking 500-600 yards, and there's elk in there. There's so much elk sign, and you might cow call, and one might fire 100 yards below you. We killed 2 bulls last year that same way. Like, they either heard the rocks moving and a bull bugled, or I cow called real soft on a bench and there was a bull real close and he came in. So I don't know. There's no one size fits all. You know how it is. Elk are finicky, and it's kind of like if you can just use as many of those tactics in a day, I think you'll get more opportunity.
Yeah, the bench thing is money, and that's money for even for deer, but especially elk. So you can actually do it on your Onyx. You can like turn the layers on. Like there's a thing where you could look at your elevation, and you can look at a hill. So if you could find like a northeast facing hill that has a flat spot on it, there's probably gonna be elk on it, especially like
Yeah,
halfway up, 2/3 of the way up. There's probably gonna be elk on it. It doesn't even have to be that big of an area. It could be a 50 by 50 bench. But that layering tool on your Onyx, where you can actually look at the steepness of the terrain. I can't remember if it's yellow or purple, whatever. It's flatter. Um, it's a money way to find elk, and not all guys are doing that. It's something that Mark Livesey like pounded in my head a couple of years ago, and it's like, oh wow, that really works. They love benches, especially if you find benches in dark timber. They really like that on a northeast facing slope.
100%. And it's funny. Like, my brother, it was his third year out hunting elk with me this year, and like by the end of this year, he was like picking Onyx apart, and he's like, I think I get it now. Where the areas we were going into, and I was showing him like, this is what I'm looking for, whatever. And then we kept consistently finding bulls there, and he's like, well, let's go try this. So he was really getting into it, towards the end of the hunt, and he's the luckiest guy I know. He's 3 for 3 on bulls with me. So
Jeez, I haven't killed one with my bow yet. I've been involved in like probably 8 or 10 of them now, and just haven't gone with my bow. Got close last year. This year, I have a tag in Colorado that I'm probably going to turn back because my kid drew the statewide general rifle tag during the rut in Utah.
oh man,
It's September 13th through 23rd, which no one you can only hunt up until like September 4th with a bow in Utah. And so he's got the statewide tag for any general unit with a rifle. And I'm like, well, I'm probably just going to turn that tag back because I want to stay married. I don't want to be gone all of September. Because
yeah,
it goes from that hunt from like 13th to the 23rd. And then I go to New Mexico from like the 25th to like the 8th him for another tag that he has for deer. So I'm like, I probably turn my Colorado tag back. But there's definitely a learning curve there, right? And I'm not the best caller. And I like last year when I hunted them, I definitely hunted way too early. Like I told myself I'm not going back unless I go back like on after the 10th because it was like they were just not moving. So, what were some of the mistakes you made at first? Were you just out there trumpsters through the woods, or were you just sitting not being aggressive enough? Like, let's talk about the first couple of years. Like, what were the mistakes you were making?
so a lot of the mistakes were tromping through the woods. not stopping, not really reading the terrain, just kind of going like searching for wallows, sitting wallows, like you read like, oh, wallows below timberline are really good. They get hit, but they're getting hit at night. So like I was just trying to figure it out. I was trying to find pockets of elk, and then I was always moving too fast. Like I always wanted to see what was over the next ridge. I never slowed down, and I blew out a ton of elk, like a ton. I can't even count how many, but I would slow myself down and still hunt, and then the moment I started going fast, I'd blow elk out. And
Yeah.
so I think really learning to slow down, pick apart the terrain, and realize you don't have to get to the next ridge right away. Like if you have a plan for the day, don't put timelines on it, which I was doing. I was like, I need to get here, and then
Yeah.
back to camp at dark. Um, that I was calling to elk. Like if I busted an elk and then I got back on that herd, I was calling to elk too close. Like I'm not saying they could see me, but they could see down through the timber I was in and know there wasn't elk there, and they're not going to come if that happens unless it's a young dumb bull or a spike usually. Um, I was doing that, and then like when I finally thought I was going to get a crack at a bull in my first year, I didn't get aggressive enough. And like I think about that hunt all the time still. And it was a really good bull over the counter. I scouted this area, finally got on this like 320, 325 class bull. He had a bunch of cows. I had him bedded at like 55 or 60 yards. There was too much stuff to shoot. And when he got up to round his cows up and go down the hill, I followed him like halfway until he went silent, and I never pushed in on him. And I always wished I did, because I think I could have got a crack at him. But yeah, like when you got to seize the opportunity. If you've got elk close like that, you've got to find a way to get an arrow into them.
Yeah, that's what everyone says is you just got to be more aggressive. There's times to be not aggressive, but like there's times to be aggressive with them. And I don't want to say you can't be too aggressive, but they're big, giant yellow school buses. They break sticks. They're loud. If you've ever been in the woods with elk, you can hear them way before you can see them. They're making noise. They're cow calling. They're breaking sticks. They're 5 foot wide antlers going through trees, hitting things. Like they're just noisy animals. Like the first bull I ever shot, man, I heard them 5 minutes before I even killed them.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
killed him
they
with a
are.
rifle. I just haven't killed him with a bow yet. I need to get the bow kill. I've only bow hunted him one season. I'm always rifle hunting or guiding my kids.
Yeah, no, for sure, man. And I'm jealous of that tag with your son because you're going to get to see like some premier stuff, and you're going
Yeah,
to get to learn a lot of cool stuff.
it's the general tag, so it's not like the best units in the state, but like it's during the rut and
Yeah,
so we should be able to get it done. I've got some good help from some guys in Utah and like where to go, and I'm very confident with a rifle that we'll get a bull killed. Very
yeah,
very confident. Just got
yeah,
to
dude.
find them. I mean, you can find them, if you can hear them, we're gonna kill them, right? It's one of those things with a rifle. If you can hunt them during the rut, you can kill them.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So you weren't being aggressive enough, or the first year you were being not aggressive enough and too aggressive.
Yeah, so I was being dumb is like
I was
basically what
being
it
dumb.
was. It's like I was being like aggressive in the sense of like I'd march through bedding areas, like not even thinking it was a bedding area. Just not. I just didn't know enough. Ignorance is bliss kind of deal. I'm out there happy chasing elk, but I didn't know I'm going through bedding areas in the middle of the day. I'm trying to. I set camp up. I'd always hike up to a ridge. I would try to set camp as high as I could, but it made it hard to hunt in the morning because the thermals are coming down. So I
Yep.
always had to find a way to loop around elk, and like I never hunted my way up. Now I do things a lot different. I still backpack hunt, but I try to set up where I think some elk are above me. I can hunt my way up to them, and then I can loop in the day and drop down when the thermals change. So like things like that. I just wasn't thinking about it. And I had the idea that I was gonna kill an elk in a meadow. Like I think everybody does. They come out here and they're
Dude,
like, oh, this
I
this
just had this
meadow's
conversation.
beautiful.
I
Did
just had a
you?
conversation with somebody. Keep going.
Yeah. So like sit at the edge of the meadow, and this elk's going to come through an hour, 30 minutes before last light, and you're going to perfect ambush, shoot him at 20 yards. That's just not how it works. I mean, yeah, it can work that way, but it's pretty rare.
The better it looks to you, like the more Disney it looks to you, the more likely elk are not going to be there. Like
Mm,
elk want to be in like we were having this joke. We were in Montana hunting bears last week, and there's this beautiful meadow. I mean, like picturesque mountains behind it, big grassy fields, and I'm like, when I first started hunting, I would be all over this meadow. But then you realize that you want to go to the last spot that you want to go physically is probably where the elk are going to be,
for sure.
especially in over the counter units. Like the last spot you want to be in is where they're going to be.
Yeah, and it's going to be a blow down nasty hole, but there'll be elk in it.
Yeah, be elk in it, I mean, and that's pretty much where I always find them, right? I mean, I could find elk. It's just they're just always in the crappiest spots.
Yeah, 100%.
So w- now with this stuff, like, when did you kill your first bull?
My first bull I shot in 20, oh man, 2014, I
So you
think.
three seasons into it or something?
Yeah, I killed a cow my second year with a gun, and then I killed a cow my third year with a bow. So it was my fourth year. So it's been 2015.
Yeah, because you
I
burnt
killed
your
my
tag.
first
Because you could
bull.
kill either or with either sex tag. So you
Yeah,
blew your tag. So your fourth year, you finally got on a bull.
yeah. Fourth year I got a bull, and then I've been pretty good after that. I've killed one almost every year. There's been a couple of years in there where it just hasn't happened, or like the year I had a sheep and moose tag, I didn't hunt elk. So like, but if I can, any opportunity I can to hunt elk, that's my jam.
Are you going outside of Colorado or pretty much only Colorado?
I apply, man, I apply in 4 other states. I just haven't drawn them yet.
Which states?
Nevada, Wyoming, Arizona, New Mexico.
Yeah, they're all freaking hard states to draw in. That's why.
I'm
You,
close in Wyoming. I've got enough points now in Wyoming. I can draw a pretty good tag. So I think next year that's what's going to happen.
you can get the late season tag down in Arizona. I mean, I got some spots I can get you on elk if you want to go hunt down there on
I'd
archery.
test it out. Yeah.
If you want to do some archery stuff, I have some spots you can go do. You can draw that with I think 4 or 5 points. How many points do you have?
I think I'm six in. I think I'm six in Arizona. I'm 11 in Wyoming. In Nevada, I think I'm 5 or 6 as well.
Gotcha. Yeah, you're gonna be a ways off in Nevada, and then New Mexico. You just got to apply, but you only have 1.5%, 2% draw odds. But
Yeah, I figure
Arizona,
eventually New Mexico will happen.
Arizona, you're never gonna draw anymore for an early season right for a bow hunt. But you could do like a late season bow hunt or a late season rifle hunt. Like my father-in-law, I think he had like 6 points. He drew a late season rifle hunt this year. And we should be able, he's 76. We're basically going to sit him on this ridge. I know there's elk that come through there. We should get a shot at a bull as long as he's willing to sit there. It's one of those things like with hunting, like we love like going ridge to ridge. But I swear, if you're willing to sit in one spot, you're probably more successful every year than you were than jumping ridge to ridge sometimes. Like, there's elk there. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Like it's just a matter of like you don't want to do it, right? Like I know there were some spots. Like last year, my kid had the tag. He ended up actually a couple years ago, and he ended up actually wounding a bull. And the bull was fine. He shot in the low shoulder, and we saw the bull the next day. But I swear, if we would have sat on one ridge, we would have killed that bull. A couple times. We just kept trying to get around on this bull the rest of the week, trying to get him killed, and we couldn't get him killed. Hopefully he's still alive this year, so he'll be a giant now.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
but my father-in-law's got the tag this year. But yeah, there's some late season opportunities you can get down there. So you finally killed one. Now I imagine you weren't too picky at first, right?
I wasn't at all. If it was legal, I was going to take a crack at it. But
Yeah.
actually, I got kind of spoiled, man. My first bull I killed with a bow was a 320 bull. So
Really?
yeah, yeah. We actually, so a good buddy of mine, Jim, he moved to Iowa now. We deer hunt together still, and he's coming out this year to elk hunt. But me and him hunted together that season in over the counter tags, and we ended up killing a bull, I think, on a Saturday, his bull, which was a really good one. I think it cracked 300, and then packed it out, and it was a piece. Like we were deep in, and it took us a couple days to get it out. And then I had the next Thursday through Sunday off. I went in Wednesday night after work, and I ended up shooting that bull Thursday morning with another buddy, Casey. Kind of the three of us always hunted together, and so we had a good week of hunting there on over the counter and back in the day.
Yeah. People should understand. So when you pack a bull out, you kill a bull on Saturday. How many days were you hurting after that?
Man, my feet hurt for weeks after that because I'd put so many miles on. It was brutal. And it was like, it's funny because where we killed that bull, as a crow flies, like to the nearest road was only a couple miles, but we had to skirt way, way, way side hill across the mountain and then we were hunting public up above, like private down below. And so we had to get way up around to stay on public and stay legal, and it ended up being like 6.5 miles each direction, and we had to take a couple trips. It was a good bull, and then we had to get camp out, and I ended up leaving part of my camp in because I was coming back Thursday. And so yeah, I mean, I think like after that week, man, I was pretty whipped for a couple weeks.
Yeah, I know, like, I've packed my fair share out now, and it's like your body's never the same. People don't understand, like, what it's like carrying out 120 pounds on their back, you know?
Yeah.
And it's just like you said, your feet, you feel like your feet. I did one, it was 8 miles, 16 miles round trip, and we had to do camp, whole thing. And it was like, I swear my feet flattened. Like,
Yeah.
it just like, I feel like it just, the weight was so, it just gets you, man. And you were, and so I always tell people, like, if you know you're doing, say you're doing an 8 day hunt with a buddy, if your buddy kills a bull day 3 or 4, your hunt's probably done. Like, you're pretty much, you're gonna take you a couple days to get that bull out, and you're gonna be so tired, you're not gonna be running the ridges the same way you were the first day. You know,
Yeah, you're gonna be beat up.
you're gonna be pretty
Yeah.
beat up. Get after it and do your best. But that's cool. So we went back in there, killed one. Now, so what changed? Did it change because you had somebody else with you calling behind you? Is that like your?
I think that was part of it. I think having a buddy with me to help slow me down. Jim was a very seasoned elk hunter as well,
Oh, okay,
so obviously learned some stuff from him. You know, more about behavior. I kind of at that point had a gist of what was going on and what we needed to do, but like, Jim would sit in one spot for 2.5 hours and just listen. He's very patient, more patient than I am, and we ended up killing his bull that way. We were sitting there for 2.5 hours, and finally a bull fired. And I was able to keep him vocal, and he slipped in and put an arrow in him. And so I think like when that happened, then going back in there, realizing like you don't need to rush everything. There's a time to jam. There's a time to not. Like I think that kind of opened my eyes a bit too.
gotcha. Now, are you kind of alluded to like having someone calling behind you? Are you solo hunting still a lot, or are you most hunting with a partner now doing the double calling?
Well, it's funny. I mostly hunt with buddies now, but I never kill a bull with buddies. They always got to come help rescue me. I kill them all solo.
Really?
Yeah, the last like four, I think I've killed solo. So yeah, like I do a lot of calling for buddies when we hunt together. Like last year, three different buddies had tag. Well, four actually, Mike too. I was with him when he killed his, and then filled two more tags. But I was behind those guys calling. And like the day I killed my bull last year, I was sitting water, which I never do. I always wanted to kill a bull over water. We kind of killed Mike's bull that morning. Those guys had to get to the airport. I hiked into this area. We'd found water, and it was just kind of a perfect scenario. Wind was good. I sat it and ended up shooting a bull with my bow, but solo on that one. But I prefer to have somebody with me that was calling behind me, but it doesn't seem to line out that way. Like I tend to kill most of my elk between like the sixth and the 15th, or the 6th and the 18th. All my bulls have been killed sometime around the 7th to the 18th. Um, and I think three of them are on the 7th, the exact day. So it's like everybody's kind of saving their vacation for the end of the season when things get fired up. But like those early bulls that don't have cows yet, that are fired up, that are searching for cows, like those are prime for the picking if you can find one early in the season like that solo.
Yeah, I went over the last year and I hunted. I think it was like the first through the eighth, and it was brutal. It was hot, and they just weren't talking at all. I got close. I ended up getting like 50 yards from a bull, and then thermals shifted on me. I didn't get a chance to shoot at him. I did have a buddy miss one over a wallow, but I have the same tag this year. I used my second choice. I didn't get my first choice, and I'm probably going to turn it back. But I'm contemplating. I told myself I'm not going back unless I go back like 7th or 8th. I'm not going back the first part of the month. And now I'm like, well, I have this tag for the 13th in Utah. I'm like, man, maybe I keep this tag, drive over to Colorado on like the 30th, back in, just go sit a wallow and sit there for the first 5 days and then come home. Like I can only hunt like the first 5 days. I can't be over there till the 10th and come home. You know what I mean? And go back over on the
Yeah,
13th. So like, I mean, what are your thoughts on that? I mean, should I turn the tag back or?
man, I got a hard time turning tags in, but I wouldn't personally.
I hunt a lot. I hunt a lot. There's no like lack of tags.
Yeah, well, if that's the case and you're pinched for time, like it might be better off to turn it in and hunt it next year. But I think your idea of if you're going to hunt early, it's especially if it's hot, finding some water or wallow or getting above tree line and trying to cut them off when they're headed back to bed. That's probably what I would do.
Yeah, I mean, I know of like a couple really good wallows in this area. We hunted a burn last year, and we ended up finding a really good spot. We were seeing elk every single day, some really good ones. Um, all the only thing with cows were raghorns, and those are the ones that are really coming into the wallows, honestly, during light. They kind of come in, and it was like you need to be sitting there like the last 10 minutes to get a bull because they only come in the last few minutes of the day. But I'd probably be solo. It's about a 3 mile hike down to get to the spot down and then turn
Yeah.
off up. And I'm like, man, it's gonna be hot. By myself, I'm trying to talk myself out of it. I'm like, man, but I don't know. I think I might just go do it and drive over there and just pack in, set tent up down there, and just stay down there and hunt this wallow for even if it's 3 days, 5 days, whatever. Sit down there by myself for a week and try and get it killed, get it done.
Yeah, I think it'd be some fun, those it's the anticipation of elk season when you get out there those first couple days. Like I go on the opener every year and I know the elk hunt's not going to be good. But I'm like, man, it's been a long off season. Like I got to get in the woods and you never know what happens, man. You might find the bull opening day comes hits the water and you kill
I know that's what I wish you were going to say the opposite. I wish you were saying turn it back. Now you're just making me reassuring. Like I got like
it.
the angel on one side saying like be a good husband, and like you on the other side being like, dude, there could be a 400-inch bull that's walking in this unit here. You never know. And you're gonna turn away from it, turn it
That's
back.
right.
So I don't know, I might just go over there and hunt, even if it's 3 days, 5 days, whatever. Hike in there and do it. It's just it's a drive. I mean, from San Diego to where I'm going, it's like an 18-hour drive to get over there too. So it's no, it's like almost a 2 day. Typically, I'll do like 12 hours, crash out in the camper, and then drive the trailer. I don't have a trailer. I just have the topper camper now, the pop up camper. It's kind of like a go fast
Yeah.
different brand though, and sleep in that thing. So I don't know. I'll probably just do it. I mean, why not? What's the worst that can happen? I kill a bull, get
Yeah, right.
stuck out there packing a bull. I'll be calling. Mike doesn't live far. I'll be calling you guys up and like, hey man, I did something.
We'll come out, man. Give us a holler.
I'll give you guys a holler and do it. So now, like you're saying, because it doesn't seem like you're really so. Like I had like Brian Barney on, and they're very selective, like trying to find a giant, and then they're not calling a lot. They're kind of tracking these things. And Corey Jacobson, same way. Um, are you are you real selective still, or are you passing bulls? Because it seems like you're kind of blind calling, right? You're not really like out there like looking for a giant. You're doing a lot of over the counter stuff. So I imagine, I mean, are you shooting a 5x5 bull this week year or no?
I taper my expectations, man. I'm like, if I've got a good tag and the elk hunting's really good, I might pass some bulls. But like an over the counter tag in the state, like I'm not too proud to shoot a raghorn.
Oh, perfect.
I think that bull is as hard earned as a big 6 point bull is. And if
Very
he
good
comes
unit.
in
Yeah.
and he gives you a good opportunity, I think you're crazy not to kill him.
That's kind of my take on it too. Is like, man, like my kid's rifle tag, we can be selective, but if it's a
Yeah.
bow tag and a general unit, it's freaking tough, man. Like I watched bulls last year, like a really good 7 by bull in this unit we were in, and I watched a guy call at it, and that bull looked down, turn, and walk the other way. I mean, like getting an opportunity, it's tough to get an opportunity in some of these bulls, and they're very skittish. They're call shy. They're overhunted, and they're not it's not for the faint of heart, that's for sure. The over the counter elk hunting. The reason why it's over the counter.
Yeah. And I think like, man, well, I've talked about this a ton with my buddies over the years, but like if you're hunting an over the counter unit and it's heavily pressured in the state of Colorado, you might get one opportunity the entire season, no matter how hard you hunt and how good you are. Like it's just how the cookie crumbles sometimes, and you got to make good on the opportunity. The better you get at elk hunting, you might expand that to 2, 3, 4, 5 opportunities in a season, so you can be fussy or selective. I choose not to be. I'm out there, I'm not trying to kill any records. I'm trying to get elk meat and I'm trying to enjoy and love what I do. And like, if it were to take away from my hunt, not killing that bull, and I wished I would have, like, to me, it's not worth it. Like, you're out there for a reason, like, get it done.
What does now you're pretty successful now. Let's talk about what your setup looks like. Are you spike camping mostly, or are you going back to the truck? Or
I'm
you
mostly
or
going back to the truck now these last few years.
okay.
I strictly backpack hunted for like the first, call it 10 years of being in Colorado. And I still think it's super effective, but I'm finding if I just get a good night's sleep and sleep in, like, I've got a pop up, I got a truck tent as well. And we actually built out an enclosed trailer. And so we've got some battery power, some lights, we can cook there. If I can get a good night's sleep and go hard the next day, like to me, it's no big deal to go a couple extra miles, and like
Mhm.
if I'm in a good area and I can hunt to where I want to be in the morning, knowing that I'm going to hit some elk on the way, like it's just worked out really good for me. And I think like I think that a lot of guys think you got a backpack, you got a spike camp, you got to hunt with your camp on your back. You don't. Like there's pockets of elk that live 400 yards off of Forest Service roads that guys aren't harassing, and you might find an elk in there that wants to play.
I find a lot of animals are in that like mid range now, the mid country versus the deep country.
Yeah.
And they're getting walked past now. There's a lot of guys backpacking now, a lot of guys backpack hunting. And one of my issues with backpack hunting, because I do it every year, is I pigeonhole myself,
Yes.
right? So now you've brought in 60 pounds, you've hiked in 6 miles, you're tired because you went 6 miles. Now you're back there and you're kind of stuck back there for a few days and you got to hike back out. You're going to lose a day. But when you do the roads, you can hike in for the day, come out, hike in for the day, come out, and like you said, maintain some sense of good sleep, sleeping in your truck, and get just as much done.
Yeah, and like me and Mike did it last year. Like area was cold. We wanted to check a new area. It was early season. We drove like a 130-mile round trip to go check an area. Went out there, hunted it for a half a day, checked for sign, wanted to see if there's any elk in there, glassed that evening, drove back and ended up in a different area the night before. Like being mobile, um, I think is where it's at.
Yeah, so that's where like on this hunt, if I were to go over there and do it, I probably wouldn't be mobile because I know where I want to hunt, and I
Yeah.
know it's a good trek in. I mean, it's 3 miles down to get in there, and coming out would suck every single day. It's just not conducive to coming in and out every day. But there's a lot of areas where you can do it by day and still get. And if you're doing the calling at night, you can find some elk and go get them killed.
Yeah, 100%. You're right. And like it makes sense in like different scenarios. Like if you got to drop 2,000 feet of elevation every day or climb back out of it, get to a spot, like you're going to be smoked after a couple days. You're not going to want to do that for a week straight.
Oh yeah, I'm not Cam Haines, dude. Like I'm in pretty good shape, and I still get smoked doing these hills,
Yeah.
especially September because you're kind of like not there. Like get me in October, I might be in a little better shape after I've done 15, 20 days in the field in September. But those first few days of that backpack on September, man, it's just there's nothing like it.
Yeah.
You could try and train for it all you want, but it's just nothing like it. You're just getting all those stabilizer muscles and all that stuff going. It's just it takes you a week or two to get into shape.
Absolutely. Yeah. I find every year it's like you got to knock the dust off, even if you're training.
Oh, even if you're training, dude, there's no training. I just got out of the gym right now, and you can ruck. I mean, rucking's the best training for it, but I mean, there's no training for elk hunting or for any hunting. It's just the best thing to do is put a freaking pack on and go in the hills and do it.
Yeah.
And day after day after day, and then in the heat, off trail. There's no trails, right? So if you're training on trails, it's not the same as freaking going up. I was just in Montana, and I feel like you're almost crawling up some of these hills. I mean, it was like doing a box step up for 2,000 foot of elevation multiple times a day. It's just like
Brutal.
brutal. The trekking poles are all the way down to lowest positions. You can climb these freaking hills.
Yeah.
There's just no training for that. It's just gnarly. So people love gear. So what does your kit look like now to go elk hunting? Like what we could talk bow setup. We can do bow
Yeah.
first. What's your bow? What are you looking for a bow? What are you doing?
So I've always shot a Bowtech. I have for I don't forever, 15 years, I guess, since I moved here. And I actually just got a Matthews Lift X given to me for writing an article for Eastman's. They sent me a bow, and I'm kind of obsessed with it. So I might
Dude,
actually
I
do
shot a
a
Bowtech
Matthews
forever. I have an SS-34. It's brand new. I'm left-handed. You left-handed?
right-handed.
I'm left-handed. And Hoyt gave me an RX-8 and I can't go back.
Yeah,
It's just, dude, it's just so good.
dude.
Those Matthews lists and those RX bows are just upping the level of archery right now.
They are, man. They're sweet. So I'm probably going to hunt with that this year. And as far as like setup, I run an option Canyon Pounder sight. I like a 5-pin mover. I like being able to have two sight tapes. I shoot a lot of 3D, so I can flip that open, shoot it single pin. I hunt with it 5 pins, bottom pin floater, and
Are
then
you running so like 5 pin like 20 to 60?
20 to 60. And I'm a weirdo. I run all green pins. I run point oh one ohs all green.
Really? Oh,
Yeah, I
I'm a
don't like
3 pin
different
guy. I
colors.
used to have 5. I went to a 3 pin but different colors, and I almost always use my top pin for most of my sliding.
Yeah,
Unless I get past like 80 yards. I just don't make the mistake of pulling the wrong pin. And my top pin is green.
yeah.
70. I'm running a 70-pound bow. What are you running?
70 pounds. Yeah.
Seems like the
70
standard
pound
now.
bow, standard. I've shot some 80 pounders, not my jam. I shoot too much, I think. Well, not too much. I shoot a lot, and I prefer to pull 70 over 80 if I'm going to shoot 7,000 arrows a year. I run a front stab, I run a back bar, usually just bee stinger. I run Hamsky rests. I've ran their rests forever. I think they're bomb proof. Um, and then typically I always ran a tight spot quiver. I run their 2-piece now, so I leave that baby bolted on from like August to till hunting
The
season's
Matthews
done.
2-piece or the tight spot?
The tight spot,
Yeah, that's the
yeah,
thing
the
with Hoyt
pivot,
is you kind of just run Hoyt stuff. There's just kind of
yeah,
made for it, right? So it's kind of like you almost get stuck into the Hoyt stuff. It just fits so good. So are you running micro diameter arrows? What are you running?
yeah. I shoot a Black Eagle X Impact, and I shoot a 250 spine, but I have
4 mil,
225 up
5 mil?
front. They're I think they're 4 mil is those X Impacts. I can't
Oh, you're
remember.
220, you're 250. I'm shooting Axis 300. So you're shooting like a 550 grain arrow.
517.
Oh wow, yeah, I'm shooting like a 457, 460 or something like that. And yeah, I'm running a 4 mil with 120, 175 up front, just basically the insert and then the 125 grain broadhead. So you're running 517, huh? So you're getting some weights. You're running that thing with like 280.
Not even, dude. My bows are slower than dog shit. Like
Is it
yeah, my bow
even
techs are
that
like,
Matthews?
no, the
The Matt?
Matthews is good. Matthews is 272 with that
Yeah,
setup.
yeah. I know, like
28
my
and a half
yeah.
inch draw too, so I don't have a super
Okay.
long draw.
I'm 29 and a half. My Hoyt was like 20 feet per second faster than my Bowtech.
Yeah, same.
Bowtech's a Cadillac. That SS34 was a Cadillac, but it was heavy and it was big. And going to a 30 inch, what is your new Matthews? It's a 30, is it 30 inch?
I got the 33, which I shoot a
33.
longer bow better. Yeah.
Okay, do you see? I had the 34. Now that I went to a 30, I'd never want to go back. Like just for hunting, it's just like it's so small and like it's just more mobile and just. But man, you shoot that 34 and it's like a cat. You can hold the thing back all day long, smooth
Yeah.
draw, no back wall. That back wall is pretty aggressive on that Matthews. I shot a couple of those and I was like, oh man, if you're not careful, you're releasing an arrow. Um,
Yeah, actually, I changed the mods on it, man, because I came with 80% let offs. I went to 85, and it helped the valley a little bit. And it's got a really short valley on it. Is the only
yeah,
thing. Like, you've shot Bowtechs. They've got a really good valley, super stiff back wall, and it's like you said. Like, I think on comfort, that SS34 is probably like 92% let off. I mean, you can hold it
yeah,
all day.
yeah. I know. The first time I shot my buddies Matthews, I let a couple arrows go on accident because it was like he came back and I was like, what the hell? I didn't even, I just get the back wall because the SS34 is like it just sits there,
Yeah,
and like it took me a minute to get used to that Matthews. Like that wall was just so aggressive, and I don't know what his was at. It could have been like a 75 or something. Real heavy back wall, but yeah, it's pretty neat. So you're running 525 grain arrow, 517 grain arrow, heavy, slower, which is fine because you're not shooting these things super far. What are you running for a
no.
broadhead? Mechanical or fixed?
Fixed. I was a huge mechanical guy until, like, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago. I switched to iron wills. I never looked back. I just think they're their premier head. I really do. They're sharp. You can get them razor sharp, resharpen them. They're tough, and you hit an animal with one of those in the right spot, it has no idea what just happened. Whereas I love expandable still. Don't get me wrong, but like especially if you're shooting whitetails, you hit a whitetail in expandable, and they go longer ways than shooting them with something super sharp, cut on contact.
Yeah. Yeah, I've gone back. I had like this Q80 Exodus. I like those. It was like a fixed three blade, but it's like an overshaft three blade. I like those. I killed stuff with all. I mean, it was funny. I was in Hawaii this year. I killed like 6 animals with like 6 different broadheads. It was fun, but
Yeah, it's good to test.
yeah, I was just shooting goats. Like I literally shot 3 of them in like an hour with 3 different broadheads. But I like those QADs a lot for a fix. I mean, I feel like they fly kind of like a field point. I've actually really enjoyed shooting the beast, but I don't like how they pop open. It's one thing, like if you're not careful with them, they'll freaking spring open on you and they scare the hell out of me. Like
Yeah,
if you touch your quiver wrong, like but they're sharp. And then I've run obviously the severs. Everyone's kind of gone to those severs lately, and those have been really good. And they killed everything I've shot at. I even shot some of those like Stinger fixed blades. You know what I'm talking about, like the long ones with like the 4 blade on there, like a little saw blade
yeah,
on there. And those things are pretty brutal too. I mean, I almost shooting goats with them, right? But yeah, those the beast broadheads, man, like the blood is just unreal. The blood's pretty unreal. Like I shot a pig with one in Hawaii in August, and it was like it looked like a murder scene.
yeah. The concept seems cool, and it seems like it'd be a great head. I know a lot of guys are having good luck in the pivot and I guess the spring action on the blade getting by ribs and going through scapulas and stuff. I haven't tested them personally.
Yeah, my only issue with them, like I said, is like if you go to put them in your quiver and you touch your quiver wrong, it boop pops open. And like I don't know. They're a bitch. I love technology. And I love somebody like trying like Joshua. What he did there is no one's done that before. I mean, everyone's kind of doing like done the mechanical thing over and over again. You can only do so much. I love the technology, and I've shot multiple animals with one broadhead. 'Cause I'm in Hawaii. Just shoot another goat.
Yeah,
Who cares? But the only thing I like is the spring open. So that's where I kind of like lean towards the severs. Like if I'm elk hunting, is those ones. But again, I haven't killed an elk with my bow. I've killed a lot of animals with a bow, but not an elk yet.
I've shot a few elk with severs. They're a great head.
Yeah,
I actually, yeah, I've killed a couple with their 2.0s too, the bigger head. I know a lot of guys
really.
shoot the
I
1.75s.
shoot the
Yeah,
one.
but
I think the 1.5s what I have for mine, or one.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So they're a great head. Yeah, they do what they're supposed to do. They like all expandables, the ship bends on them. That's the only problem is you got to replace the parts a lot. But
Hopefully it worked and did its job. So who cares at that
that's
point,
right,
right?
one and done.
Who cares? One and done. So all you needed to do is go through that thing and kill it. So that's cool. So you got your bow set up there. Now, what are we looking like for a day hunt? Are you running like a? Do you keep a sleeping bag just in case you need a spike camp, or are you just like you're going back to the truck?
No, I know I'm going back to the truck. If I gotta stay out and sleep on a critter or something, we'll just make it work. But rain gear, food, water purifier, kill kit.
What's your water purifier? Are you running a SteriPen?
Yeah, mostly. I mostly run an Nalgene SteriPen. I always pack a pump if I have a bag with me. It's kind of just like a habit. I don't mind the extra couple ounces to have a SteriPen and a bag. I enjoy like drinking elements or like those kind of like drinks in my Nalgene. And if I just need a straight shot of water when I'm hiking, I'll have a pack on the back,
Dude, have you
Camelback,
tried
dude.
a hard side hydration?
No, is it good?
Dude, hard side is they turn your Nalgene into a bladder. I'll
Oh,
never go
cool.
back. Dude, it's like $30. So it's like my favorite piece of gear I got last year, and I ran it. I mean, I've been running it now for 2 seasons. It's like you can use a 48 ounce or 32. I run the 48 ounce on my side of my pack. I run like the initial ascent pack. Strap that sucker in there, and now you get the best of both worlds. And I carry one extra Nalgene because I don't like to mix in my straight water. I don't like to mix drinks. I carry an extra 32 just so I can do like I like doing those Celsius packs or like the hydrate from Mountain Ops or whatever you got. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, dude, you got to get a hard side hydration. They're bitching.
Yeah, I'll check that out.
Then you get the best of both worlds, and you don't have to deal with having the bladder in your bag. I just keep the Nalgene on the side of my pack, and I'll keep an empty one in my backpack. So if I get somewhere, I can fill it up and do it. And I'm going to buy a SteriPen. I just used a SteriPen for the first time a couple weeks ago because I've been a really big. I love the I have pills in my pack no matter what. That's like my secondary no matter what in case something goes wrong. I used to use like the hand pump, like MSR, and that thing's just total bitch. But I love the gravity filters. So like the
Yeah.
MSR gravity filter. So I have like three because I do so much backpacking. I have like two 6 liter Dromalites and a 4 liter, and I'll just fill up 16 liters of water and then be done for a couple days at camp. You know what I mean? And you
Yeah.
just middle of the day, it's freaking hot as balls anyway. So you go sit down next to a creek for an hour and do the water. It's nice. So I
Yeah,
love that.
I do the dromedaries as well. I usually I just put aqua tabs in them or drops because I'm like too lazy to pump.
Yeah, so that's the thing is like with the filters, like you don't get like you have to get over like if you're gonna use a cherry pin, you just need to be willing to drink gross stuff. Like it's just like
Yeah,
you're gonna see it. Like you're going to drink dirt. Like you're going to drink
bugs for
bugs and
sure.
stuff. Like you're gonna get some critters in there and you got to drink. Like we only had our steri pens and we was a river, but everything was flowing so heavy in Montana a couple weeks ago. So we were drinking milk chocolate. It was chocolate milk, right? But it was good. It was wet. It worked. It wasn't a wallow. I mean, I've drank worse
Right.
stuff. I've drank out of like cow troughs that just tasted like total piss because it's like out here in San Diego, it's so hard to find water anywhere. So, sometimes a lot of times what we do is actually backpack water in here. I don't know if it's legal or not, but we'll leave gallons of water out in the hills just so we can get there and have water
Yeah.
when we get there. So that's cool. What are you doing for backpack? Kafaru or
Yeah, for Kafaru forever, but now I'm running the Stone Glacier.
now you're running the stone, huh?
Yeah, first year. So I got a couple of their packs. I'm headed to Alaska in August for caribou. I'm going to run it up there and then all elk season and see how it lines out. I've heard really good things about Initial Ascent. I thought about buying
Yeah,
one of theirs,
it's
but
incredible, dude.
Yeah, so they might be the next one I test, but we'll see.
That initial ascent, dude, is very, very hard to beat. It's the most comfortable pack I've ever worn. It feels like it's a part of my body.
Yeah,
And I run a lot of them, pretty much all of them, but I do love the initial ascent. And it could just be like, it's like boots. You find one that works for you, and I'm like, man, I don't know, I see myself going away from this pack for a long time. I love that pack. Awesome owners as well, but just I really love that pack. I've never actually wore a Kafaru, but I know they have a great frame as well. I've wore my firewalls a little bit here and there, but man, that initial ascent, it's incredible. I was running an EXO for probably 8 years, and I switched over to that initial ascent, and it's just, man, I can't get it off of me. I love it.
yeah, no, that's good, man. And I've heard that about them. Kafaru they make a great pack. Their frames are awesome, and you can carry a pile of weight in them. It's just time for something new.
Time for something new. Read between the lines on that one. Um,
Yeah.
um, so you running that pack. What else you got in there for that day trip? You got a bugle tube.
Bugle tube, reeds. I keep those in my bino harness. Yeah, bugle tube. Food. I think I probably already said that. Kill kit, rain gear, pack cover if I know it's going to be real wet. I always keep a first aid kit and a tourniquet with me, just a
Hmm.
small one. It's a small pullout. Um, and that's pretty much it, man. I try to go as light as I can. I still carry too much stuff, but it's rather better to have it, and in
Yeah,
case you need it.
I won't go through my first aid kit with you. I just did this yesterday on a podcast. My first aid kit like tripled in size last year after going to some classes and just realizing like, holy crap, man, like if one of my kids gets hurt, I only have is a bag of band-aids on me, I'm gonna really feel like a piece of crap. So
Right.
I've got like a sling in there now. I've got a tourniquet. I've got like some, what is really bitching, dude, that I love. I will mention again on this pod is I bought these things. They're like zip ties, like butterfly zip ties, and you put them on and you zip tie them and it closes your wound up.
I saw that. They
Dude,
look good.
they look because like you ever try to use a butterfly on a cut and just things just won't
Yeah,
stick. They're
terrible,
a pain in
dude.
the ass. So like, dude, those zip ties, I'm a sheet metal worker, right? Or before this, I mean, I've done some gnarly cuts. I've got some guys
Yeah,
really flayed open on some stainless steel, and I'll get in there and do it. But man, those zip tie things are bad to the bone. So get some of those in your kit because like like I did one on my wrist a couple years ago at home doing a deer, put it right through the artery, just not paying attention. I had a bunch of kids running around talking, and I was like, man, if I was in the field, this would suck.
yeah, be
It was a good
trouble.
it would be trouble. Yeah, it would have been trouble. I mean, it was one of those ones where it actually pumped, like it was spraying blood. First time I had one of those. You can see the tube, you can see the white tube that I cut through. It was a good one. So yeah, those zip ties they're pretty bitching. So pick some of those up. That's one thing I would recommend
Yeah,
throwing in your
no, will
kit.
do.
That and then like obviously like those what are those like not steri strips, but yeah, steri strips, right? Those things are pretty cool too. I think those are better than band-aids or better than butterflies. The butterflies just I've never found one that works good. They just don't stick.
They don't stick. Yeah, I've tried to use them on guys' eyes and stuff, and they're trash.
They're trash. So cool, dude. That's a fun pod. We always end with a hunting story. You want to tell us a duck hunting story or an elk hunting story? What do you got? I see you got a duck up there behind you. You big duck guy?
No, my wife is. Yeah,
Oh, dude.
she loves the waterfowl. So,
Oh man.
I'll tell you a good one that happened this year that I learned from. We didn't. It's not a kill story, so
Perfect.
hopefully that works.
It's perfect.
Um,
Any story.
I I took a buddy into his unit where I killed my bull last year, and he had the same tag. And we got on this really hot bull, fired up, got in close, knew he had cows, ended up trying to close the distance on him. Didn't bump him hard, but he didn't want anything to do with us. So we sat there and chilled out for a bit. This bull went across the next drainage. We assumed he was out of our life forever. An hour later, we're sitting there sleeping. He bugles from the next drainage over. And we actually can glass across the hillside. He's looking back into where we were, which was his bedding area. And he had 3 cows. And we just sat there and watched and watched and watched. I never answered him because I'm like, he's trying to push his cows back into this bedding. And we ended up getting my buddy set up where we thought he was going to cross, but that bull did. He ended up pushing those cows like 2 hours later back into where he just came from. And had we had him in the right spot, it'd have been a dead bull. But he zigged, we zagged, and had him at 80 yards in the timber, and he fed there for 15 minutes. So elk will do some crazy things. They're sometimes not as fussy as you think. They might move from an area and they want to be right back there 2 hours later.
Yeah, man. They're animals. They're minds of their own, especially during the
Yeah.
rut when they're doing is thinking with their pecker. They don't get to have sex once a year, so they might want to get
Right.
right back there. And plus they're used to getting bumped, right? I mean, there's so many guys out there hunting. But Cody, that was an awesome pod, man.
Yeah. Thanks for
Do
having
you
me.
want anyone to find you? Are you like a famous influencer at all, like Mike, or no?
No, I'm not famous by any means. I've got an Instagram. If you want to follow me, great. It's at Colo Covey. Um, that's about it, man.
Cool, sweet, dude. Let's do it again, huh?
Yeah,
I'm
absolutely,
gonna
man.
bug you after you get off this pod, and I'll talk about my tag I got, see if I want to do it or not.
Let's do it, dude. I'll stay on if you want.
Yeah, let me stop this thing, get some answers, get some insight, get all the dirt. Thanks, bro.
Yeah, absolutely.